Hello, everyone. Welcome to Pawkettian video number 17. And today we're going to be talking about simple chord progressions using major chords in 4/4 time, switching between the chords and doing a basic quarter note strumming pattern. So what you want to be looking at is hopefully at this point you have learned how to play 5 chords. C, D, E, A, and G major. These 5 chords, right? You're going to want to be looking at this PDF, which is called Chord Progression Sheet number 1. Now, the first thing we're going to do is this. We have learned how to play chords. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through what a chord progression is and then what this sheet tells you to do in terms of strumming and so forth and repeats and so forth. So a chord progression is a series of chords, and it can be 2 or more chords, that are repeated generally many times, and these make up what are called different song parts. So like the verse of a song is one chord progression maybe, then you get to the chorus and that's another one, or the bridge of a song, or the solo section. And these would be a certain number of chords that are played in a row, generally 2 to 4 times, although it can be totally different. You could do it once, you could do it 10, but the general gist is you're playing them either 2 or 4 times. And so that it's repetitious. We like repetitious things. Musicians love repetition. Even if it's not an exact repeat, we like the feeling of consistency in repeating things because it's pleasing to our ears. It's something we can easily remember. So one thing is when we come up with a chord progression or want to play chord progressions, we need to figure out, number one, what chords are we going to use, and two, for how long are we going to play each of those chords, and 3, what rhythm are we going to strum it at, and 4, what tempo are we going to play it at, and then eventually you can get to like 5, what feeling is it, and so forth, and 6, what version of the chord. It can go on and on and on, but for the basic idea, we want to figure out what chords we're using. That's the first thing. The next thing is how long does each chord last, and then 3, how we're going to strum those chords, or the strumming pattern. So if I look at this sheet, this is very simple. This does not have what's called a time signature, but I'm going to tell everybody that for now, we're going to play all of these chords in what are called 4/4 time. So we're going to, each one of these measures, right, which are these lines going up and down like so, is one measure, so what's in here. Now, when you see this little slash mark right here, that means play what you played the previous measure. So this is a G right here. This right here would also mean G. And then we have what's called a C chord in between here. That's what's going to represent a C chord. And then this is going to mean play C again. Now, you'll see these 2 little dots right here and then in the beginning. That means repeat. So you would keep playing this line over and over and over again. So the first thing to do is we look at the first line. It says play G, and then this slash means play G again, then C again. So this is chord progression number 1. What I would do is sit here and go, okay, I got to play G. I'll play my G chord, and then I'm going to play it again. And then it's telling me to go to a C. And then I'll play C again. So the first thing I might do is just see if I can do this out of time. So I'm not using a metronome, I'm not doing anything. I'm just kind of playing through and going G, G, and then I switch to a C. And I would keep doing this over and over and over again so I feel comfortable going from G to C, back to G, back to C. These chords are really popular. You're going to use them millions of times for the rest of your life if you keep playing guitar. So you want to get comfortable going from G to C. Right? And once again, I played G twice and then C twice because I was kind of following each bar. Now you have to realize that each one of these doesn't represent the number of times you strum it. It just represents the chord that's in the bar. So this actually, because we're in 4/4 time, would get 4 beats, and then we would play 4 more beats of G, and then C for 4 beats, and then C again for 4 beats. So something I might do is this. I might think about, first of all, I have to set a tempo, right? So I'm going to take my metronome, and I'm going to put it on 60. And that's going to represent what's called the quarter note, or the beat. Now remember, if you looked at the last video, which is 16, each bar, if we're playing in 4/4 time, is going to get 4 beats. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. Next bar, 1, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. So every time you hit 1, the next bar happens. So if I'm looking at chord progression number 1 on here, what I would think is this. If I counted off 4 to start it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'd get G, 2, 3, 4. Again, next bar, G, 2, 3, 4. Then C, 2, 3, 4. And then C again, 2, 3, 4. Then I go back to the beginning, G, 2, 3, 4. G, 2, 3, 4. C, 2, 3, 4. C, 2, 3, 4. Now, what I can do is I can just switch the chord on the beginning of each bar. So I could do this and count out loud, right? I'm going to count off 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. So I'm just keeping time, right? I'm playing 2 bars of G, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. And then switching to C. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to let the metronome keep going. So this is the first thing you'd want to practice. Can I strum the first chord, the chord of the bar on beat 1 and hold it out for 4 beats and then go to when the next time 1 rolls around, strum the chord again. And I'd be switching between G and C. Then what we want to do is we want to work on strumming what are called quarter notes. And this is where we're going to take the pick and we're going down through all the strings when we strum it, right? And we want to strum quarter notes. Now the first thing to practice doing this is take your hand, kind of hold the strings, don't push down, and you'll get a mute sound. So first thing would be to try to do something like this. And to strum along, just using what's called the down strum, like this, to the beat to make sure that you can play in time and hear where that consistent thing is. Once you feel okay with this, then you try to play each chord, 1 chord on each beat. So we're thinking about playing what's called quarter notes. So we're going to play every time the click goes, we're going to strum. And it would sound like this if I did it. Here's chord progression number 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. I get G, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. C, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Back to G. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 4. Now, when you first start trying to do this, it's really hard. You're like, how do I switch those chords so quick? You know how you switch them? You practice it over and over and over again. Seriously, you just go like this. G, C. You don't even do this in time. You just try to get, how fast can I go from that G chord to the C chord? It's muscle memory. That's all it is. Once you get it, then you can strum 1 chord per bar and hold it out for 4 beats like I showed you. Then eventually you try to strum quarter notes where you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sense? So what I'm going to do is the next video, which will be the Pawkettian 18, I will strum through all 7 of these chords progressions on this sheet for you so you can play along with me. And hear what they're supposed to sound like. But for now, practice along. See if you can just get the G to the C, strumming once per bar and holding the notes out, and then starting with quarter notes. It's a very important thing. And use a metronome. I set mine at 60. You might want to go a little slower to like 50 or something like that. Or if it gets easier, you can move it up. But I would suggest somewhere 60 or lower. All right, I'll see you for video 18 very soon, where I'll play through all the chord progressions on this sheet. Have a great night.